I want to ask you something before we get into this. Think about the last time a product you loved lost to a product you didn't. Not because it was worse, not because it was more expensive, not because it failed in any way you could point to, but because the competitor had a distribution advantage so enormous that quality simply stopped being the deciding factor. That is the story of Slack.
People were initially attracted to Slack because it's easy, it's stupid. Slack is helpful and it is the go-to for communication in many companies, my own included.
One of the things that we've seen to help these customers move through the agentic divide is Slack.
Slack is slick, it's intuitive, it's logically laid out with channels and discussions.
Slack is the better product. The user reviews say so. The product design community says so. The people who've used both say so. For a stretch between 2015 and 2019, Slack was the fastest growing business application in history. And right now, Microsoft Teams has 320 million monthly active users. Slack has 38 million daily active users. Microsoft's share of the collaboration market is 37%. Slack's is 18.6%. How does the better product end up with half the market share? The answer involves a failed video game, a $27.7 billion acquisition, a Brussels antitrust regulator, and a London High Court lawsuit filed 7 days ago. Uncle K Media presents The Unicorn Graveyard, Episode 9, Slack. The best product in the room that nobody could protect from Microsoft.
Slack isn't a messaging app. It's a productivity illusion wrapped in a dopamine trap. Slackbot is the fastest growing feature I've ever seen at Salesforce. But does it actually help you get more done, build a great culture, and grow your business?
Stewart Butterfield has done this twice. In 2004, he was building a multiplayer game called Game Never Ending. The game failed. The photo sharing tool his team built as a side project became Flickr, which Yahoo acquired in 2005 for around $25 million. In 2009, he tried again. This time, it was a massively multiplayer online game called Glitch. Whimsical, thoughtful, ambitious. And by 2012, it was clearly not working. Butterfield shut it down. But while Glitch was being built, his team had created an internal messaging tool to communicate across a distributed team. It was fast. It was searchable. It had channels that kept conversations organized. It felt fundamentally different from email. He looked at the tool. He looked at the failed game. And in 2013, he pivoted. 8,000 users signed up on the first day without any advertising. The product simply worked, and people told other people, and those people told more people. By 2015, Slack was adding $1 million in new contracts every 11 days. It was the fastest growing business application ever recorded at the time. By 2019, Slack went public on the New York Stock Exchange at a $23 billion valuation. It was genuinely, objectively, the best tool of its kind. And that was approximately when things got complicated. Microsoft launched Teams in 2017, and the product, let's be honest, was not Slack. Users who had been on Slack and moved to Teams will tell you plainly. The search was worse, the interface was clunkier, the notifications were chaotic, the threading was confusing. But Microsoft did something Slack couldn't match. They bundled Teams into Office 365, then Microsoft 365. The suite that hundreds of millions of businesses worldwide were already paying for, already deployed, already integrated into their IT infrastructure. IT departments looked at their renewal contracts. Teams was just there, already included, already licensed. The conversation in boardrooms and procurement meetings stopped being, is Teams better than Slack? And became, why are we paying extra for Slack when Teams is already in the package? That is not a product question. That is a distribution question. And distribution in enterprise software beats product every single time. Salesforce, which had acquired Slack in July 2021 for $27.7 billion, tried the regulatory route. They lobbied the European Commission. The EU agreed. In 2023, Microsoft was forced to unbundle Teams from its Office suite in Europe to avoid antitrust fines. A small victory, but in every other market on Earth, the bundle kept running. And on April 23, 2026, 7 days ago, Salesforce and Slack filed suit against Microsoft at London's High Court. The claim: Microsoft's practices are anti-competitive and have illegally restricted competition. A company that built the better product is now in court trying to get regulators to force the other company to compete fairly. I want to be clear about something. Slack is not dead. 38 million daily active users is not dead. The developer community loves it. Startups default to it. The product keeps improving. Salesforce has invested significantly since the acquisition. But the market has moved. And the people who lost the most are not the investors or the executives. They're the knowledge workers. The hundreds of millions of people who spend 8 hours a day inside communication software, who got defaulted onto the inferior product because of a procurement decision made by an IT department that was optimizing for cost per seat, not quality of work. There's a specific kind of damage that doesn't show up in fraud filings or court settlements. It's the damage of 1 billion people collectively settling for the second best version of something because the first best version couldn't survive a bundling strategy. No fraud, no guilty plea, no DOJ, just a better product that couldn't outrun a distribution advantage. Here is what it teaches you. The lesson is not that Slack failed to build a good product, it built the best product. The lesson is that in markets where the buyer is an IT procurement department and the competitor is embedded in a bundle that 400 million seats are already paying for, quality is a necessary condition but not a sufficient one. Distribution wins. This is not cynical, it is structural. Build accordingly. When Salesforce bought Slack, it felt like a triumph. The product had been valued at nearly $28 billion. But what followed was a defensive holding action, regulatory lobbying, antitrust filings, a London lawsuit, because the acquisition didn't solve the distribution problem. Money doesn't automatically convert into market power. Know what you're actually buying. Slack will keep improving. Microsoft Teams will keep growing. The question of whether the better product can eventually reclaim what leverage took, that question doesn't have an answer yet. But the pattern is documented, and the unicorn graveyard exists for exactly this kind of story. Not just the frauds and the blow-ups, but the quiet defeats that happen inside procurement spreadsheets and bundle pricing negotiations. Next episode. A 21-year-old got suspended from Columbia University for building an AI tool that helps people cheat on job interviews. He didn't go quietly. He turned the suspension into a marketing campaign. He raised $5.3 million in seed funding, then $15 million from a 16Z. He told TechCrunch his annual recurring revenue was $7 million. Then on X, he admitted that number was a lie, the company built to help you cheat. The CEO who cheated on his own metrics. Subscribe to Uncle K Media, hit the notification bell. This has been The Unicorn Graveyard. Episode 10 is the one that will make you laugh before it makes you angry.